All right, all right. How you doing? How you doing? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to everybody who is at the sound of my voice. Come on in here. Get on in here. I'm getting ready for you. We're getting ready for this conversation. Come on in. Come on in. Happy Tuesday. Whole lot has been going on. A whole lot going on in these Americas. You know, you know what's going on. You absolutely do. And we had a movie that premiered over the weekend. There's so much that went on over the weekend, where to start, where to start. Uh, that is to be determined by you all getting in here and let's having this conversation. But we will be having this conversation. You know, the show starts now. So come on in. Let me know where you're from. Let us know where you're from. I'm right here in Flowtown. See a couple people in here already. Good afternoon. Hope you're having a good day so far. I really do, because you deserve to be having a good day. Let me get some volume in my headphones because I wasn't really hearing myself. All right. We're going to be talking about Tyler Perry's new movie. Tyler Perry's new movie, Divorce in the Black. Did you guys see Divorce in the Black? If you did see Divorce in the Black, I want you to get in here and have this conversation with us. So if you didn't see it, I don't want it to be any spoilers for you. I don't. But I do think we need to have a conversation about it. We're gonna be talking about that specific movie, talking about the plot line, gonna talk about the characters in the movie, and we're gonna talk a little bit about Tyler Perry, his style of making movies. I think it's a conversation to be had. We tend to have this conversation every time he comes out with a film. We're gonna have it again. And I imagine we'll probably keep having a conversation. It is Tuesday. It is a wonderful Tuesday. Before we get too deep into the conversation, before we start talking about Tyler Perry, before we start talking about Megan Good, before we start talking about Corey and Divorce in Black, ooh, we need to go ahead and do a little breath work. What I want you to do is inhale to the count of 4. And we're going to hold it for a few seconds. And then we're going to exhale. And we'll hold that for a few seconds. And we'll repeat that a few times. Now, you can close your eyes if you're in a place that you can do that. I don't want you to do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're actually sitting at the desk. If you got your head pods on and you're taking a listen, we'll vibrate with us and listen. But if you can close your eyes, close your eyes. You want to take it a step further, put your hands over your heart and feel that you are alive. That's you. Let's get into it. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. One more time. Let's inhale. Hold it a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. Doesn't that feel great? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I hope that you feel great. If you're still kind of taking that little bit of time for yourself, if you had your eyes closed, you can keep them closed a little while. Just listen to the conversation, feel your way into it. But today we are unpacking Divorce in Black. Family dysfunction. It's TIO Tuesdays, everybody. This is episode number 149. And in this episode, we're going to dive into the movie of Tyler Perry's latest film. We're going to explore the portrayal of family dysfunction and the impact and dynamics it has on our relationships. We're going to discuss some of the key themes, some of the character dynamics. We're going to chat a little bit about your thoughts of Tyler Perry's style of movie making. So I really want this to be a thoughtful conversation. Whether you like the film or not, whatever your opinion is, I mean, come on in here. Let us know. Let us know how you felt about it. You can do that. But there's so much more to unpack. Because I know when you watched the film, there was a lot that you probably saw that you could relate to. Whether it kept you there, whether it made you turn away, whether it triggered you, there's something there. There is. So we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna get Tori in here, and we get the conversation going. How you feeling, Tori? Tori, how you feeling?
What it do? How are you? Hi, everybody. It's Tuesday. Listen, listen, I can't wait to talk about this movie. This movie. Mm, this movie. Let me just say this. I started the movie that it came out with Friday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday. Okay, so I started the movie that morning and I stopped like a few minutes in. I was like, It was very triggering for me. So I stopped the movie probably 10 minutes, maybe 7 to 10 minutes in the movie. I had to stop. I was like, this too much. This too much. It was very triggering. So I stopped it. And I saw that it was a topic of conversation. It was a topic of conversation on social media. So I said, let me log out of social media and I won't log back onto social media until I finish the movie. So yeah. I didn't
Well,
finish watching it till that night, but I got it done. And Will, since you haven't seen it, you might want to log off because we want to give it away for you. What's up, Will? He said, "Hey, ladies," and he
mhm.
hasn't seen the movie. So, Will, you may listen. He checking in from and Kim. Kim, what's up? Kim is checking in from LA. I'm finishing up an appointment, so I'll be in and out of the room today. What's up? Thank you so much for always tuning in from LA.
Oh yeah, that's where they be making the movies at. Except for Tyler Perry,
Yeah,
he down
yeah.
there in Atlanta.
Will say, I ain't logging out. Trust me, you won't spot. Okay, Will. All right, cool.
But, you know, I'm
Bet.
like that too. Like, you can't spoil a movie for me. I mean, you can talk about it, say whatever you want because I am gonna
Mhm.
watch it for my own opinion, from my own
Yeah.
point of view, so
Okay.
it's really kinda hard to spoil a movie for me. I still will end up watching it.
Yeah.
So you said you had to turn it off.
Yeah. It was triggering
Mhm.
because of for me the what was triggering for me is the dysfunctional family. It it was triggering. That's all I can
Right?
say. I was like, oh my God. I start getting anxiety. I turned it off. And
Well, I
so
mean, you know, when we're going in to watch a Tyler Perry's film, let's be
mhm.
honest, we have to already kinda have our mind centered around there's gonna be some type of Black family relationship highlighting some type of dysfunction.
That
Uh,
was a bit much for me.
yeah, some type of dysfunction, but also let's be fair, some resilience, some redemption. A
Yeah.
lot of the times his narratives are, you know, derived from challenges that women are facing, and, you
Mhm.
know, they portray a lot of the struggles and a lot of the triumphs in a broader context
Mhm.
of what our family lives and our family dynamics are about and our romantic relationships, right?
Right, right.
Um, you know, I don't necessarily a lot of his films I haven't seen. I kinda pick and choose the ones that I watch, just like anything else, you know, nothing against him, I love him. You know, I definitely respect his business model. I think it is brilliant,
Mhm.
and, there's just a lot to be said about his films. Now, also, I wanna talk about, you know, some of the things that I feel like I I wanna bring up let's just go ahead and bring this up now. There was a you know, you talked about people were talking about it on social media, and I did see a post that I liked. Okay. So there's a post here from Timothy Brown, and he says, I know we clown and joke about Tyler Perry's writing has fallen off and the wig situation has gotten better. But let's keep it 100. These black actresses are saying is that he's paid them the most money ever in any project they've done, and that speaks volumes. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, you gotta respect this brother's business model.
Mhm.
And actually, Timothy's right. He's absolutely right. They are getting paid something that absolutely I feel like they are due for their talents. Making a movie is incredibly challenging on every aspect, in front of the camera, behind the camera, and we got to give it up for him. He has a whole entire studio. He's not just making movies, he got a lot. He's got a studio that rivals studios in Hollywood. So whatever it is that we think about his films, he's making money and he's doing a lot for the culture in that respect as well, you know?
Yes.
I see Kimberly got a comment here.
And Kim says, "Now, I only watched about 10 minutes and I wasn't ready. It was given buffoonery. However, when I'm up to it, I'll likely finish it."
And that is it. Kimberly is saying something that I can completely understand. I
Yeah.
Whenever I make a decision to sit down and watch a Tyler Perry movie, I have to be
Yeah.
in that mind frame to watch that. Like I know what I'm going into. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I'm already prepared. I want to read a
Yeah.
few more of the comments from Timothy's post, in fact, because I just found like a lot of people are getting into some really good dialogue here. It's Talk It Out Tuesday with Tori and Miss Tonya. We are talking about Tyler Perry's movie Divorce in Black, and a whole lot of people are talking about it. I pulled up a social media post here. We pulled up Timothy's post, and let's go through some of these comments here. Can you read the comments at all? Are they too
Yes.
small?
Yes, I can see it. So which one you want me to read? David Jefferson or which
Yeah,
one?
let's go there.
Okay. David Jefferson says, "At some point, we have to admit that some black people simply have waged war on black success." Ooh, that part. That is
Yeah.
so true. That is so true. That is so true.
Very much
Mm.
so, and that's a part of it too. Like, really,
Mhm.
he has a formula, he has a fan base, and whether you happen to be one of those fans, I don't know how relevant that is because look at what he's building, look at who and how he's helping actresses in a way that, they're just not given that level of pay, you know?
Right. Right.
Let's read some more comments.
And Licia Johnson says, "How can we speak on a millionaire though? One who has made many accomplishments and will continue."
Come on.
Leonard
Mhm.
Robinson says, "When we equate the success of a movie producer because of their generosity, we must also consider their contribution to the culture or the lack thereof. It's Tyler Perry who popularized men in dresses more than any single other actor, not Flip Wilson and any other actors before him, not even Jamie Foxx, Martin Lawrence, and Ricky Smiley. No one has done it better." Scroll up, then uh no one has done it better. And then there's TV programs like all comedies that promote buffoonery. Nothing new. We've been step it, fetch it actors for generations. Then there is programs, Sisters, and other such programs that glorify sexual perversion as entertainment. Should we celebrate his achievements? Perhaps, but maybe we also need to prevail upon him to become even more creative at lifting the culture up. We can do both at the same time. We can celebrate Perry, but also call for a higher standard. Just something to think about. That's a valid point. That's
It
valid,
is.
isn't it? Yeah, it's
I
valid as
mean,
well.
and there's a lot in there. There's a lot in
Mhm.
there that we can kinda unpack this a little bit. He says,
Yeah,
just like in the very beginning when, he is talking about equating success of the producer and their generosity and their contribution to the culture or lack thereof. I mean,
mhm.
if Leonard had just stopped right there, that
Yeah,
says a whole lot.
yeah,
And what I wanna say about that is this, uh, you don't get everything from everybody.
yeah,
You don't.
Mhm.
There's so many other movies out here that aren't feeding us intellectually, spiritually. It's a movie and we watch it and we don't take a lot of these producers and directors through a lot of the things that we take Tyler Perry through. If you
Mhm.
don't like it, quite obviously, you don't have to watch it. Like,
Right.
you really don't. But I feel like you have to know what you're getting into going in. And I don't know if he should necessarily change his formula. It's working.
Yeah, it's
There's
work.
so much that he's doing and it is working. Why change it? I wouldn't.
Right.
I
Right.
absolutely wouldn't. And I was thinking about that to the degree that I was like, well, what are some of the advantages and what are some of the disadvantages of his style of movie making? Because if we go back to like the 1970s when we had like the black exploitation films, you
Mhm.
remember those films? Like, a lot of our black actors, like really famous actors, a lot of them were in those films. We can go all the way back to the movies like, the Superflies, they came that genre of movie, it wasn't feeding us necessarily in the ways that we are looking or expecting Tyler Perry to do. But it
Yeah.
was a style of filmmaking.
Mhm.
Um, and to be honest, I kinda put Tyler Perry in that genre a little bit sometime with some of these films. You have to
Mhm.
just know that, okay, this is much like the Black exploitation era of filmmaking.
Mhm.
It's a style. Um, his film also, I mean, he's giving so much increased visibility to Black actors, to Black writers, directors, and it actually contributes to the diversity of the whole film industry. And a lot of the Black stories that he's telling, whether you feel like they're fully developed or not,
Mhm.
there's some experiences that you absolutely can relate to,
Right.
you know?
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
hit a lot of mainstream audiences, they do. Um, and let's look at the economic power that he brings with this style of filmmaking, you know?
Yes, he does. That's
It's
what I love about it, his generosity. I mean, a lot of people criticize his filming, will criticize the wigs and stuff, but I love the fact that he's generous because Fantasia just did a video just the other day. She said he's the only one that reached out to her when she lost everything.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you deny that? And what he did for Cicely Tyson.
Yes. Yeah.
Just think of her phenomenal career and body of work that she had done,
Mhm.
but she still found it not robbery to add her talent to his
Mhm.
films,
Right.
So if she could do something like that, I wonder like, well, who are we and why are we being that judgmental, you know?
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
that's just what I think.
Absolutely. And Maya Angelou, matter of fact, Cicely Tyson and Maya Angelou was actually in this one in a film together. I think it was Medea's Family Reunion, I think, because I actually
Mhm.
just watched that last week.
Now
Um,
see, I've never seen a lot of well, not a lot. I
yeah,
haven't really watched any of the Madea films.
yeah, yeah,
I
that one has Cicely Tyson and Maya Angelou in it. Both of them
Mhm.
were in it. They did phenomenal in that film. Yeah, it was really good.
Well, I tell you what, he's created his own lane, and much like the Black exploitation genre of films, they get in there, they make these movies quick. They do it on what would be considered a shoestring budget,
Mhm.
and I'm not mad at them because anybody who can complete a film, that is to be commended, and I know, I mean, I'm not trying to say that these are Oscar, you know, um, films, but do they have to be? I mean, we watch, like, reality TV. We watch people on TikTok and social media all day who doing their own little skits, and It's entertainment. It's fun. It kinda takes your mind off of some things, and I feel like a lot of the times it's okay for entertainment to be that. Yes, we want things that are thought provoking. We do. Uh,
Mhm.
you wanna have provoking conversations, but listen, sometimes it just doesn't have to be that way, you know?
Right.
Think of the advantage of just like I said, he make these movies at a high volume and these TV shows, he make them at a high volume and a fast pace, right?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
that's saving him money, which means he's got more money to actually spend on the actors because he's not actually spending it in that production, you know? He's got a quicker
Right.
schedule, he also by doing it that fast and by him owning his studio and doing everything pretty much himself, he
Mhm.
maintains that creative control over the project, so it just kinda allows him to stay within his vision and within his message. He's like, "Okay, well, this is what I wanna do, this is what I wanna say," and he just puts it out there, you know?
Right. And, Corey, Hardrick that played the character Dallas in the movie was saying how even what do you call it? What do you call it when they're actually, I guess their living quarters when they're preparing for the movie? Is it the trailer? Is that
Oh,
what it
right,
is?
right.
And Corey was talking about because I heard his interview. He did an interview on the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about even the trailer. He said the trailer was so amazing that he
Mhm.
could take like 8 families could fit in a trailer.
Wow.
He was like, it was that huge. He said Tyler Perry takes care of his people, and he said he worked on that movie for 3 weeks, and Tyler paid him more in 3 weeks than films that he it took him 5 months.
That is exactly what we're saying.
I'm like, wow.
That is what we're saying. There are advantages to that. You know,
Yeah.
his commitment to not playing, his commitment to paying black
Yeah.
actors more than the industry standard. I
Yeah.
mean, to
Yeah.
they feel like they're receiving fair compensation for their work. That's something
Yeah.
to really look at, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
I've gotta support that. I actually love that. Um, so
Mhm.
higher pay rates for top talents in his production, it just it does a lot for the culture. People
It
say
does.
people wanna say, he's taken away from the stories, but guess what? A lot of these storylines and these things that the reason why you're kinda attracted to it and you say that he's messing up the culture, the point of the matter is this: it really happens in the culture.
It does.
We really do have a lot of family dysfunction. Let's be honest about that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Be honest
does.
about it. The reason why a lot of people were triggered and had to stop and pause in the movie is because it's stuff that you can relate to. You're like, "Whoa, I wasn't ready for all this."
I definitely wasn't ready.
And I certainly get it.
I
I
wasn't
get it.
ready. Ooh, I
Yeah.
wasn't ready. I
We're
was
talking
not
about
ready.
Divorce in Black. How many of you saw Divorce in Black, and what do you think about it? What did you think about the film? Did it catch you off guard? What are some of the things that you feel like you can relate to? If you don't want to necessarily have any spoilers, I'll go ahead and tell you to don't listen to this. Let's talk it out Tuesday with Tanya and Miss Tori here. Tori,
Ma'am.
what triggers you so much?
The dysfunction of the family and Dallas' character, because I've dealt with dysfunction in family as well as being in a relationship that was abusive.
Mhm,
It always triggering for me.
mhm.
And to deal with being stalked, to deal with the fact of people showing up at your house and you not knowing that they're there. I had a person that was stalking me, and every time they was in a different car, and it was crazy. So a little bit of all it was triggering for me.
Oh, Lord. Sound like
Yeah.
you wrote the movie.
That's why I stopped it. I was like, "Oh Lord, I can't do this." I stopped it, and I had to go back, but I went back because I was like, everybody's talking about it on social media, so I logged out of Facebook so that I didn't get, spoiler alert. So I logged out, and I didn't log back on until I finished watching the movie. I had to literally force myself, and then there's parts where I paused it, like the part where I think when I don't wanna say certain things, but when she left
Say what I mean, we've
when
told
she
people that
left
we're going.
yeah, when she left, the incident happened with her father,
Mhm.
and she left the hospital, and the guy was like, "Where did she go?" And she had got stole his truck, and I was like, "Oh my god," and stuff like that. I don't like movies that have, like, the suspense and I was like, "Oh god." So I when she left, when he discovered that she left, I said, "Oh lord." I stopped it again.
Oh my
Then I was
goodness,
like, "You
Tori.
wait." Oh, yeah, I stopped. But definitely the first few minutes was very triggering with the dysfunction, and, I stopped it. I stopped it a lot throughout the movie. It took me the movie is probably, what, 2 hours? It probably took
I don't
me
even know, to be honest.
I think it's 2 hours. I started watching that morning. I stopped at, like, 10 minutes within the movie, and then I didn't start it again until probably, like, 8 o'clock that night, but I ain't finished about 12 because I kept stopping. I'll stop and walk away and go in the kitchen, get something to eat. I couldn't straight watch the movie like that.
Oh
I
my
just couldn't.
goodness.
Natasha says, "Hey, y'all. Hey, Natasha. How you doing?"
What's up, lady? Good to have you in the house with us. Always, always good to have good people. But let me tell you something. What
Mhm.
got me, and I think a lot of people can probably relate to this, a lot of women, um, and maybe not just women, I take it back to people, but you know how was Megan's character, who was she, Ava or something like that? Was that her character name? Whatever, Megan's
Yeah, Ava. Yeah,
character.
yeah, yeah, Ava. Yeah.
What she saw in Dallas was something that I related to a lot, and I feel like a lot of women who end up in these type of relationships that could turn out to become abusive is that she had so much sympathy for the clear trauma that you could
Mhm.
see that he was living through. Like,
Yeah,
why she felt so sorry for him and
yeah.
got so involved with him, that's a real thing. So, as I was watching the film, that really I had a relationship where I felt sorry for a person like that. Like, I could see all of the things that they had gone through, and I just had so much, uh
Compassion and
sympathy and
empathy?
so much
Yeah.
compassion and sympathy for them. I was like, "Gosh," I felt like he had gone through so much, and if he could just be given a chance, like, maybe he could, accomplish the things that he wanted to do. I could see, like, the pains that he had gone through, and I could see the pains, and it reflected in his life. It reflected in his life a lot of the ways the same ways that it did for Dallas. He
Mhm.
drank very heavily, he just had very, you know, uh, abusive tendencies in terms of not physical abuse, but, what just
The verbal
psychological.
abuse and psychological.
Psychologically,
Yeah.
it was a lot, and it took me all the way back there to my younger days where there was a person that I got involved with, and I didn't even know how it happened. I don't even know why I felt that sorry for him, and that's just something that you can't do. You
Yeah.
gotta, allow people to heal because if you do not, that dysfunction becomes a
Mhm.
part of your life. You get sucked right into that dysfunction. Um, and this is the cast here. What a great cast. I felt personally everybody was great in this film. I enjoyed
Yes.
everybody, I enjoyed them a lot, in fact. So, anything that anybody has to say about the cast, when they say that it's bad acting, I don't necessarily think that it was bad acting. I can understand where people, say there might be some holes in the story, this, that, and the other, if you wanna say that, if you wanna challenge, Tyler in that space. I can understand where people might wanna say that, but I also wanna say that when you're making a film that fast pace, he's cranking these things out. Typically, I don't know if you guys know about filmmaking at all, but typically, a lot of Hollywood film, it take years. Just developing the script itself can take years. It take a long time for them to do the actual production, and then the post-production takes an incredible amount of time. So with the pace that he's putting these films out, I think we are looking for too much. And he's able to do that because he's not giving you all of that stuff. He's like, "Listen," he's trying to allow you to work with your own intelligence. All right?
Right,
This is a
right,
film. This is what happened. We gonna skip from here to there. You put in there what you need to put in there, but this is where we at.
right.
Sometimes you just gotta be able to watch it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. And the character that played, Megan Ava's in the Megan's character, Ava, the character that played her friend, oh my god, now that was a real friend. You hear me?
Okay. She was a friend. And Imma tell you something. The
Mhm,
way Tyler did something in this film that I thought was very creative. It was some people could call it a cop out a little bit, but,
mhm,
instead of showing us all of the things that the relationship went through and showing us all of the actual abuse, what
mhm.
the friend did was like, "Girl," she said, "I wrote down everything that he did to you, all of it." In that letter, so we didn't
Right.
have to be traumatized by seeing her being physically abused and all of these things. I was like, "Okay, I see how you threw that in there to get in, get out." And
Yeah,
that's how her family knew about it, that's how we knew about it. Well, actually, I thought that was a good idea.
that was a great idea.
That was a great idea, and it also showed the dynamic of that friend. Can you imagine you have a friend who actually kept record of all of those things? Because when you get ready to get a divorce, and I don't know how many of y'all been through it, but, let me tell you, the first thing you have to do, that your lawyer is gonna have you do, is write down everything that happened. You have to take time, and you have to document all of those things that happened. You got to put that list out. So, that's one of the times that you really have to sit in it and realize how real it is, and that's when you realize how much stuff you went
Mhm.
through and how much
Yeah,
stuff you actually took.
right, right. And Natasha says the movie was woo! Yes, it was, girl.
Hey, that's a whole understatement.
And Miss Gloria, hey Miss Gloria. She said, "Hey ladies, my opinion, I think most women think that eventually a man is going to change, but you may not be the one who can change him." Tanya, you are on point about feeling sorry for a man for what he's been through or what he's going through. And I've actually felt that as well. You
Mhm.
feel as though you can fix him. And I was actually I'm actually on my podcast yesterday. We were talking about in the conversation. A lot of times when you think you can fix this man, a lot of times we put in the work and pouring into them, and we actually prepare them for the next relationship. And we have to understand that my experience with that man may be totally different from your experience from him. You know what I mean? I may be able to bring out his best qualities. That way I prepare him for the next one. So he treats the next one how she deserves to be treated.
I
So
don't
we put
listen,
that
I
into
don't I
perspective.
don't know, I don't know. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear
Yeah.
what you're
I've
saying,
seen it. I've seen it. I've experienced it.
but I wanna call bullshit.
I've seen it though. So
Okay,
you
but
saying so you're saying that maybe there are some women that allow certain things and some that won't? Is that what you're saying?
it is that. It is that,
Okay.
but the reason why I wanna call bullshit is because you absolutely cannot change them, and when there is a pattern, when a person from relationship to relationship has been abusive to women, the likelihood of you being abused is so high. I don't think that we are changing them or preparing them for anything. I think they might learn something from the relationship that might make them want to do something different, but you can't change a broken person. They have to decide to want to heal. That's something that you have to make up in your mind to do. Just like as a woman who is not healed, who continues to be with broken men, because that's a problem. Until you make up in your mind that, hey, I got a problem. I keep allowing myself to get involved in these broken relationships because I'm not healing my broken self. It's like you don't realize your brokenness. That is why you are relating to him because no one wants to think of themselves as broken. I mean, I could say I was young and dumb, and that's such an easy excuse. But I will also say it is a part of that truth. I was young and dumb. Now I don't consider myself, and I didn't consider myself to be a naive young lady. I felt like I was smart, but I wasn't relationship smart. I just hadn't understood or knew the dynamics of what being involved with someone with that type of background could potentially do to me. Nobody
Mhm.
had the discussion. So when we see these movies that we feel like Tyler Perry is just pushing out all of this toxic BS. Well, guess what? There are some young ladies who grow up in a household who haven't seen those things. And if they see that in a movie, it can make you think. You can be like, "Oh, I might need to look out for that." You know what I'm saying? I might need to pay attention to this
Mhm.
because I had no idea. Now, like I said, I'm healed now. We're talking about over 30 odd years ago of this particular relationship that I'm talking about. Like, and not just one. I've actually, found myself being in relationship with people that I kind of had, I felt sorry for them. I felt they had issues and problems that I could kinda help deal with by being a different person for them, and I
Mhm.
had to figure out that that's not true, that that's not how it works, but, it's dangerous. I like I said, I didn't know. So, if a movie can show you something, even if you don't feel like it's a good movie, if it can spark a conversation, I think it's a conversation worth having. I feel like there is some value in that, you know?
And Will says Tyler's dope. He put so many messages in his film and it goes over people's head because they're not paying attention to the dialogue. Absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Craig says Dallas is what a broken man looks like when he's raised by a broken mother.
Come on. Come
Ooh.
on. Ooh, we
Yeah.
gonna get back to that comment. Let me hear Craig's other comment here.
And Craig says, "Sis, you can't change them. You didn't break them, so you can't fix them." And
Woo!
and basically what I'm saying, well, let me say from my experience, there was a relationship I was in. And sometimes people see things in you that you don't necessarily see in yourself. There's sometimes you do things and you don't realize you're doing it. And there was a relationship I was in, and the guy was like, you're doing this, you're doing that. And I didn't even realize I was doing what he said that I was doing. But what I did is make an adjustment to certain things that I was doing that I no longer do now. So I think in some cases that person can, I know from my experience, by him pointing out certain things, certain toxic traits I didn't realize I had,
Mhm.
by him pointing those things out, I made the necessary adjustment that I don't do those things anymore because I just thought I was just this perfect
No,
person. You
no,
know what I'm saying?
no, listen, I get that,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
listen,
That's all I'm
this
saying.
getting I get what you're saying, but what I
Yeah.
want you to see or just kinda hear my point of view, not saying I'm right, not saying you're wrong, but from
Mhm.
my point of view, that scale is off balance.
Yeah.
We're talking about someone who is toxically abusive in some very dangerous ways, not only to themselves, but to you and an entire family. And Craig's comment here, he said, Dallas is what a broken man looks like when he's raised by a broken mother.
Mhm.
And, we could take this a couple different ways. And I don't wanna be defensive as a woman and say, "Well, why are we talking about the broken mother?" Well, the mother was broken. It always is gonna be a broken family. We can't even just blame it on the mother or the father because where was the father? We don't know. There's a whole backstory, but it's a broken family. A broken family, not just a mother. The mother just happened to be the one who ended up raising him. He could have been raised by a broken dad, but he was probably left by a broken dad. So I feel like we need to get to a point in place where we don't want to point the blame on one specific parent and realize that it really is the family dynamic. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? There is a broken father somewhere. There's a broken father, whether it is his his father, whether it's the mother's father, there is a broken family. That's what we got to deal with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But
Right.
the way she controlled them was like they were like puppets, her puppets that did whatever she said. It was crazy. The quote of the day, you can't control how toxic family members treat you, but you can control how much power you give their words and actions. And that was one of the issues. That was one of my problems. One of my downfalls. I would give people's words and actions too much power. I
Mhm.
had to learn to take my power back. So that was one of my downfalls. So that's why earlier when I read that quote, it just snatched my breath away because I felt that in that moment when I first initially read it, because I gave so much power to people's words and actions. And now I let stuff roll off my back now.
Girl, it's not always easy. I mean, like I said, we have to learn. We
Yeah.
have to learn, and some of these lessons we learn the hard way. If
Yeah.
if if I can see something in a movie and there's a conversation sparked around it and I can look at it, then I know what to look for. Because maybe my mom didn't
Right.
talk to me about that, or my dad didn't talk to me about that, or I didn't necessarily see that or understand that. Because Imma be honest, I had
Mhm.
never really put my finger on the fact that I felt sorry for this man. This
Mhm.
movie, after all of these years, took me back so many years, like, you know what? That's what it was.
Mhm.
Like, I'm actually up here feeling sorry for his life, for what the traumas that he went through with his family. Like, I felt like he was dealt a bad hand,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Mm.
Now, now let's talk about Dallas' mama. Child, she gave me my life in this here movie. Let's talk about Miss Ursula O. Robinson. In fact, let's give her her propers and let's talk about Professor
Yeah.
Ursula Robinson. Okay,
Yeah.
she's a professor at South Carolina State. She's a drama professor. When I say that she gave me my life
She did.
because she played that role. Look at that facial expression.
Yeah, she did that.
Now be honest.
You couldn't tell me she wasn't Dallas' mama for real.
You
She was definitely in character.
Now let's be honest. You know somebody like that too.
And do.
You've seen that face. You have
Yes.
seen that face.
Yeah.
You see that trauma, all of that, but I just wanna give her all of her flowers. I know that there were a lot of our mainstream actors in here, and there were some other good actors that we were introduced to, but
Mhm.
I can't wait to see her in more films.
Right.
I
Yeah.
cannot wait to see her in more films. She did the daggone thing.
She did. She really
Alright?
did. She really
And
did.
representing South Carolina State University. Go ahead and teach them babies.
Right.
Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Girl, and,
Yeah.
that's listen, because I gotta talk about the first part of this movie. We
Okay.
got to. Like I said, I stopped at 7 minutes in, but there was so much crammed into that first 7 minutes. Now the preacher went way off the chain. You know you'll be in church and the preacher preaching it, and it just feel like he talking about you. Now he really was talking about them, but a lot of the times, you sitting in church and you feel like this sermon is directly being,
Yeah.
is about me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Maybe it is,
Mhm.
maybe it isn't, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I done
But
got my toes stepped on a few times.
right.
Yeah.
But you know you're guilty because you done lived some of that life, and you're not the only one who's lived it. That's why these
Mm.
stories hit and resonate because there is something in that you can relate to. It doesn't have to be in the exact detail, but there's something there
Right.
that you can
Mhm.
relate to. Now, when that mama got up and she started giving things back, she said, "Uh-uh." She said, "No, you won't. You you
Oh,
will not
goodness.
make me feel like you did this for me." She started giving things back. She said, "Get 'em." Uh-uh. Get him.
Oh
And
goodness.
when she took off that stuff and left that stuff there and they gathered up their brother, they put him on the back of that pickup truck.
Man, listen.
They took him right on home, buried him right there on the property, right near the trailer.
Oh Lord.
Saw them broke down cars and stuff out there. Now tell me,
Mm.
you ain't never seen something that crazy before. Not in that detail,
Yeah, that was crazy.
but the lifestyle is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm like, "What?"
And you know people who wanna remind you of what they did for you. They wanna
Mm,
give you something, but they gonna remind you that they gave it to you. She's like, "Mm-mm, you won't
yeah,
tell nobody you gave me this. Here it is.
yeah,
Keep this."
right.
Now that was
Yeah,
the level of dysfunction that I have not experienced personally,
yeah,
but I sure know something about it.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm
Woo!
a firm believer, I always say that all the time. If you do something for me, you got to broadcast it, don't do it for me. If it
Child.
ain't coming from your heart and you got to constantly remind me, I got to thank you 50, 11 times, don't do it for me.
Run tell that.
'Cause I'm the type of person, if I do something for you, you will never know about it.
Run tell that.
I'm like, "Lord have mercy."
But
That scene took me out though. I think after that was actually where I stopped it. When they
mhm.
literally took the I said, "What?" I stopped it right there.
I did too. I was like, "Wait a minute, I got to pause this because I had to get up." First of all, I was hollering, and I had to pause that thing because I was like, "I know doggone well she ain't took that stuff off," and I said, "Well, I'm so glad y'all didn't buy her the slip." Child.
Yeah, I was
She said,
like,
"You ain't
"Man."
gonna talk about my boy like this."
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, that brings up another interesting topic, you know, just for
Mhm.
the hell that they've caused a community. You know,
Yeah.
let's think about this. We know people who have done shit and bullshit, and then when they
Mhm.
die, we're supposed to sit up here and make them seem like, they were a good person. He got
Yeah,
shot in a crime.
yeah,
He was a person
yeah,
who was violent.
yeah,
He was doing something. So, you know, we get involved. That really does happen.
yeah. It does. It does. And that's the thing when it comes to funerals, eh, 'cause there was a funeral that I went to, and I'm just like, I know how the stuff went down, but when the preacher get up there and you lying and saying they went one way, you know they didn't go there, I be looking crazy. Like, there was one funeral I just wanted to just walk out because I was like, that ain't how that gonna go. It's like you get up there and lie. I don't be. I think the way the pastor did it in the movie, he did it kind of, he did it crazy. There was a way that he could have said some things, but he was right, but he could have handled it differently, in my opinion. But that's
Well,
reality, though.
right, right. It was a dysfunctional family, a small town. Everybody knew this. The people in the church knew it. So I mean, and not
Yeah,
only that, his daughter is involved in this family, so he's got relations much closer than just the average person in town. You know.
right,
So
right.
there's that. But
Yeah,
child,
yeah, it was crazy. I was like,
she
Lord
wasn't
have mercy.
ready. She wasn't
Yeah,
ready. I
yeah,
said, "Well, goodness." I mean, I know
right.
everybody got a little dysfunction in the family,
Yeah,
but, do it have to be quite like that?
right, right. Quote of the day: a dysfunctional family isn't any family with more than one person in it. Absolutely. Well, that's every family.
That's every family. You got some kind of dysfunction. Now, it's on different
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah, definitely different levels.
It's on some
Definitely
different
different levels.
levels. You dealing with some different specifics, some different
Yeah,
situations, but I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that you're not living this thing perfect.
No,
That's not exactly how it goes.
no.
People. are gonna continue to give Tyler Perry a hard time about his films, about his stories. Um, and like I say, I know when I sit down to watch, I know what I'm getting myself into. So I can't even say that I'm disappointed. I can't.
Yeah.
I just take it for what it is. Whatever message that I see and that I can get from it, I get from it. And if even if I don't get anything from it, that's okay too. You know how many bad movies I've watched? Lots. There's no problem with
Yeah.
that. You know how much brainless, um, what is it? Reality TV that I watch, so much
Mhm.
brainless YouTube and social media things that I watch. I'm not going there for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything doesn't have to be that. I want you guys to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I see a lot more eyeballs and I see those little likes and hearts. I'm going to need you to go ahead and hit it up. Let people know that we're having conversations. Make sure that we can be bumped up into the algorithm. I feel like we
Right.
deserve a little bit of that love.
Yeah. What's up, Isaac? What it do? And you know what else I meant to mention, Tanya, that I thought was pretty cool? The fact that Megan Good and uh what's her is it Debbie Morgan?
Yeah, Debbie Morgan.
They were actually reunited because you know they played a mother and daughter years ago in Eve's Bayou, and Megan
Hmm.
was like 14 years old in that film.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty dope.
yeah. Tyler
That was
gon Tyler gonna reach back and appreciate, the actors and actresses that he grew up on and give them opportunities that he knows they did not have.
yeah, I
Uh,
really I like that. That was one of the things I liked too. I like that was pretty cool because they worked together years ago, and I'm pretty sure she has seen the growth in Megan because, like I said, Megan was a child when Eve's Bayou was out
mhm.
because she was 14 years old, and now she's what 30? Is she 30?
Nah,
Is
she
she? She's
should be.
not 40.
I'm sure she's in her 40s. I'll look it up, but she can't be 30s. She probably been in the industry 30 years, but don't let me lie. I'm sitting here at a computer. Let me see.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
What's her last name? Good.
Good.
Okay. Let me find Megan. She was born in 81. All right. Well, of course, she in her 40s.
Okay. 40. Okay. I wasn't sure she was in her 40s. Okay. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's
She
pretty
is.
cool. That's cool. And she looks amazing. I said, "Come on, abs."
Listen, you supposed to look good at 42. That ain't old.
I said, "Oh, she looks." I'm talking about her abs. I was like, "Wait a minute. I need
Well,
to
I
get back
mean,
in the gym."
abs, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, she looks.
Why you looking bad at 42?
Yeah, she looks. Yeah, she looks good. She looks really good.
Yeah, she look good. She look good. But I
Yeah.
can't give her no props. She 42.
Well, listen. I just gotta work out. I'll just say that.
Well, I mean, whatever people wanna say, but I'm like, "42? Come on."
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but you could tell she put in the work though. Her abs is defined. Tanya is what I'm talking about. The definition of the abs. I say, come on through
Now, I already said I ain't mad at it, but
it.
what I am saying is 42, you should be looking good.
Oh, what Isaac say? Isaac says, sugar honey iced tea. I've seen some 25-year-olds looking 50, so kudos to her.
Imma
Not
give it to 'em,
25-year-olds looking 50.
but why do we have to say that when it's the 25-year-olds who dragging themselves through hell? That's all I'm saying.
Oh, goodness.
That's
Lord have
all I'm
mercy.
saying.
Lord
Just
have
it's
mercy.
a different lifestyle. It's a different lifestyle.
They're abusing their bodies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but right, you know?
Yeah. I gotta do better though. I gotta eat better for me because I like to eat some of the wrong things. So I'm getting older now, so I am
Tori,
doing
I don't
better.
wanna hear you say that no more.
Imma do for
Now, I
you.
done I done heard you say that a lot on the podcast. I don't wanna hear it. If that's what you wanna do, do that.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
you wanna do that. People
Yeah.
shouldn't don't fucking worry about it. Just like matter of fact, Oprah. I ain't never mind Oprah being big. She had to decide when she wanted to do what she wanted to do. And Oprah in her what, 60s, 70s by now? I don't know. One of those
70,
ages. Okay.
she's 70.
All right. So, I
Yeah,
mean, listen, I don't know if people care about that so much,
okay,
or at least I don't.
okay.
I'll speak for myself.
And I said, "But what's our take on the movie?" I actually the movie
Go
for
back
me
and watch the replay, Ashley. You gonna come in here all late and expect us to go through our take on the movie in the last 5 minutes. Well, but what I will say is that, it was all right. I thought
Yeah.
it was a pretty good movie. It brought us some really good points. I feel like we have so many expectations when it comes to Tyler and his way of filmmaking, but it's a pretty good movie. You know that we
Mhm.
have dysfunctional families. The reason why everybody could relate to it, the reason why we're having this conversation is because you know somebody, you know a situation like that. I was
Yeah.
telling, I did say earlier that I could relate to being a younger woman and actually feeling like, feeling sorry for a person and felt like, like, "Hey, this guy was given a dealt a bad hand. I see all of the trauma and the things that he's gone through with his family, and I got involved with that person, and it didn't turn out good." So that movie kinda took me there, and it really did kinda identify, like, really, that was the whole issue. I got involved in this whole relationship because I believed a sob story. I got involved in someone else's sob story and someone else's family drama and trauma and dysfunction that they hadn't healed from, and I shouldn't have done that. But at the age I was, I just didn't know any better. Not giving myself an excuse because I've certainly learned a very, very harsh lesson. And so as it relates to the film, I feel like if I had seen something like that and was able to identify with that and be able to have a conversation about it, because people often talk about movies, even when we see good movies that we consider good movies or whatever that is, films invoke a conversation. They give us something to talk about. So I felt it was good. Just seeing that family trauma like that, it was
Mhm.
crazy because, that wasn't like I said, every family got their own little toxic things or little dramas or trauma, but my family didn't have stuff like that. I didn't come from an abusive home. I didn't see that. I didn't expect that. I wasn't a person who was abused physically. So, it wasn't something that I could relate to. But I also I just learned something. That movie at my 55-year-old self realized how I got entangled in that relationship, and it all just boiled down to I was looking at his life, looking at that trauma, and felt he was dealt a bad hand, and I just gave him some love that, I didn't know how to deliver. I didn't need to be there. What's your take, Tori?
Just like I was saying earlier when you was talking about the mom and the family, it was triggering for me, and I actually been in a relationship as well where I felt the same as you. You felt sorry for them, and it was to the point where they would do certain things, and instead of me getting upset, I would try to understand their situation, understand the trauma that they've experienced. But now when I encounter people, because I remember that relationship took me through a lot of changes. I went through a depression, and it's like I feel a lot of things that people go through. I'm an empath, so I feel everything. And I remember that relationship took me down. It made me, oh God, I went through a deep depression. So now if I meet someone now and I see certain red flags, I totally disconnect because I was like, I can't go that route. But I'm glad I experienced that relationship because I recognize things more. It's like I pick up on it sooner. But for some reason, those type of broken men are attracted to me. I don't know why.
We just we you okay.
I'm a nurturing person, so and even not necessarily romantic, but you can see that type of brokenness in some of the male friends I have too.
I know, and see, and that's the thing, because initially, this person that I was drawn to was not even in a romantic way at all, not even a
Yeah.
person that I would have considered myself attracted to.
Yeah.
It was being a friend to this
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
and just because of the nature and the laws of proximity, it
Yeah.
developed into something else.
Yeah.
But it didn't start out that way. It wasn't a person that I was necessarily interested in. I'm not even attracted to him to this day. So I
Mhm.
go back to question myself in many, many ways, but I realize how I got sucked in.
Yeah.
So if a bad movie, if y'all wanna call it a bad movie, can teach me a lesson, hey, I'll take it. I'll
Yeah.
take a I'll take that couple hours of watching a bad movie than over bad years of being in a bad relationship.
Yeah.
I'll take
Absolutely.
it any day. I don't need the movie to have, it doesn't have to be all tied up and all of the story, it doesn't have to have the continuity that you feel like this particular movie or a lot of Tyler Perry's movies lack.
Mhm.
If there's a message that I can get it from there, one message that I need to hear, I want it. I
Right.
want it.
Right. Right. And that situation, and even with family, it just taught me over the years how important boundaries are,
Mhm.
because I wasn't good at setting boundaries. Now I have boundaries in place. And
And
that's what helped has been helping me.
yeah. And let's go back too, because you think about the family that Megan came from, just like what I was saying. I didn't come from no drama in that
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
She didn't.
Yeah.
She came from what was basically a pretty good home.
Yes.
She had her parents. Her parents weren't abusive to each other. So you wanna say, "Well, how a good girl could end up with this bad guy?" Because she felt sorry for him. So there's so many different ways that you can get connected with the person, and, you just gotta know. Like you said, you gotta know those red flags. You gotta know that you can't change this. There's nothing you can do. You gotta see how that thing plays out somewhere else so that in your undeveloped relationship mind,
Mhm.
like, "Girl, this ain't for you." Um,
Yeah.
if you wanna do something for him, hook him up with somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
He need to be on a couch somewhere. And
Yeah.
and and then everybody doesn't necessarily get help, because this same person that I particularly was involved with is still toxic, and I will imagine will die toxic, continues
Mhm.
to be toxic to this day. There won't be any change, and everybody's not gonna change.
Right.
So it wasn't me. He had host of relationships before and after, and he's still toxic. He's still damaged. He still
Yeah.
hasn't decided to heal. And it takes you to decide to heal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cuz I actually have a person that came back to me over a couple of weeks ago and said that, cuz I always saw the best in him. And he told me, he said, "Tori, you always saw what was there, and I couldn't even see it, because not only was he being abusive, but he also, delved in, what's the word? Well, I'll just say flat out, was dealing drinking and also smoking, and also taking over that strong that medicine, mixing all
Mhm.
that stuff together." So all that played a role and added to his craziness as well. But he did say to me, he said, "Tori, you saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, and now I see what you were seeing, because they had, and like you said, you have to decide within yourself that you want to change for yourself. People I can talk to you till I'm blue in the face, but until you decide that you want to heal for yourself, that's when true healing begins."
Mhm.
Yeah.
That
So
that's
yeah.
what it is. You
Yeah.
gotta realize that it exists in our community. That's why I always go back to saying, yeah, people are very hard on Tyler about these films. They say he's exploiting his own people and he's making us look bad. He's not making us look bad. That movie has not made me look bad.
Yeah.
That movie has exposed some toxicity that exists in relationships and in families, and not even just black families, if we want to be real about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it really does happen out here. It really is happening out here. He's not just, making this up.
Yeah.
So let's
That's
be real about that.
that's true.
And
But
how,
watching the movie, I will say this, watching the movie one time for me was enough. Cause there are some people that don't watch it 3 and 4 and watching it one time was enough for me. I don't wanna watch it again.
yeah, I watched the beginning again, but
You
I
watched
didn't
it
watch the
again?
whole movie. Yeah, because I just like Ursula so much. I
Yeah.
love her. Like, I don't found me a new favorite actress. Let me put her up here again. Professor Robinson. Let me tell you something. I
Mhm.
love this lady.
Yeah.
Look at that face.
And I'm pretty sure you've seen the comparison people put, her and, the
Monique.
picture, yeah, to when
Mhm.
she played the movie Precious. Now that's another movie I haven't seen. I've seen the clips, but
I've never seen that.
I
Yeah.
never saw that movie, but I thought that was funny. They put them talking they gotta be sisters or something.
But that was Lee Daniels, wasn't it? That wasn't Tyler
Yeah,
Perry.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. But I was just saying the comparison with how they compared their resemblance and when they got into character.
Mhm.
But
Well,
yeah.
the only thing Imma say is I'm not mad at Tyler. Y'all not gonna make me be mad at him about the gaps and the holes in the movie. Y'all not gonna make me mad about the bad wigs and stuff like that, cause y'all know they bad wigs. And next thing, y'all know people in y'all life who have bad wigs. So what is y'all talking about in real life? You have seen people out here with bad wigs, and you mad at him for putting it in a movie that he's just cranking out. Like,
Yeah,
listen, mm-mm. Y'all
yeah,
not y'all mm-mm. If you don't wanna watch the movie, don't watch it. Like, he's put out a whole lot of movies. I've probably
mhm.
only seen a handful. I don't even know what made me decide to watch this film. I think it was because Megan Good was in it. So I
That's
was
one of the
curious.
reasons why I wanted to watch it because, that's actually the reason why I watched it. I wanted to see Megan and also wanted to see, Corey because I never seen him in a film before, and I didn't realize I guess he's one of those underrated actors because he was saying that he's been in the business for, like, 30 years, and I did not realize that.
Yeah, I've never seen him in anything.
Yeah,
So,
so
but I felt he was like I said, I felt like everybody in the movie was good. Were there
yeah,
holes in the story?
yeah,
Kinda, yeah, but I wanna say this. If
mhm,
you realize that there are holes in the story, that means you already know what it takes to fill that in. So who's the one who's being silly here? You get it. Why he got to show you that? You already know. You know what go there. If you realize it's a hole, you kind of get it.
right,
So, people just looking to nitpick things. And I'm not necessarily trying to, I don't have to be uh defending Tyler Perry. I don't feel like I am. I'm just saying, I mean, use your own mind, use your own imagination. He's
yeah,
already given you so much. This is 2 hours. You expect a whole life? You want to see everything? Use your mind. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Use
yeah,
your mind. There's some things
mhm,
that you don't need to see. The same way certain things happen in your life and you don't say it because there's some things that don't even need to be said. That goes for movies too, y'all.
yeah, it does.
It really, really does.
Well, my closing remarks, because I see we went over the time, is that I think that what her friend did in the movie was a good thing when she wrote down the things
Yeah.
because I found myself over the years when I'm evaluating a relationship, whether it's romantic or friendship or family, I always make a list of the pros and cons. And Natasha says Ava's friend was a friend. I loved her. Yes, her friend was phenomenal. And I have done that quite often over the years when I'm struggling and I feel like a relationship, whether it be friendship or romantic, is draining me. I make a list of the pros and the cons. And if the negativity outweighs the positive, then I realized I need to release that person because we have to make the decision whether you stay connected or disconnect. And that's sometimes I find myself making that decision because staying in this relationship is hurting me. Staying in a relationship is draining me. So it's time to disconnect. I can still love the person and care about the person, but I have to remind myself it's okay to have some distance. It's okay to set necessary boundaries. And I do that quite often when I'm reevaluating a relationship. I write down a list, listen. And there's sometimes when I get to write, I'm like, dang, I forgot they even did
Hmm.
this.
Child. I am too old for the bullshit. I don't have to write nothing down.
I was
I'm getting
like,
ready to read you right here, right now. Boom.
I still give chances
Next.
sometimes.
And that's the problem. And that's how you end up in some bullshit. I am
Mm.
not making no lists in my 50s. I got to make a list. You don't even get the opportunity for it to be a list. A list?
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh no, we not weighing nothing. We
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
weighing nothing. That's for
Mhm.
young women. That's a
Yeah.
young women do that because you
Mhm.
learning, you
Man.
learning. But not at this age. No. Mm-mm. She ain't making no list. There's no reason you should have a list. What in the world you doing to a nice little old lady in her 50s? Why would you do that?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And why you in so much trauma in this late part of your life?
Yeah.
No. There's no list. There's
Yeah.
a thing you get ready to do that make me know, "Oh my gosh, you mean you done escaped this amount of years? Mm-mm. You
Yeah.
got to you got to move on, brother."
Yeah. Yeah. But it was
It's not
overall
happening.
it was a good movie.
It was. I
Mhm.
I would say it was a good movie. If I it was what it was. So
Yeah.
when people ask me, because somebody asked me if it was good, I was like, "Well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it was entertaining."
Yeah. But like I said, one time was enough for me.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely wouldn't watch the whole thing again. But there was a Tyler Perry movie that I feel is a good movie that I can watch almost anytime it comes on. Good Deeds.
Oh, yes. I can't even count the time. What? Nah, I
That was
love
Yeah,
that
I thought that was a
movie.
good movie. I
That was
really
a
did.
great movie.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good movie. So, you know, he might slip another one in on us that we might be able to watch again.
Yeah, yeah. There
I
there's
don't know.
there is a couple that I watch that I can
Mhm.
watch repeatedly, but that's definitely Good Deeds is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, I watch Good Deeds. I could. It's just a movie that it can come on. You'll be watching TV and it comes on, and you just don't turn the channel. You can watch it.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
one of those kind of films. All right, Tori. Well, we gotta let the people know something. We gotta let the people know something. Next week is gonna be our last week coming to you guys at 12 noon. All right.
Mm,
Get ready to take this thing to PM. We get ready to do 7 PM, and we get ready to do a few more things because there's so much going on in the world. Like I say, we dealt with a lot of drama and dysfunction over the weekend, from the Tyler Perry movie all the way to presidential rallies. So there's
yeah,
a whole lot going on in the world, and I just feel like I cannot be on here and I cannot have any type of influence, whether it's 2 people, 3 people, 4 people listening to me, and not acknowledge what is going on and talk about some of the things that I feel like are important. And right now, we need to be talking about things that are important in our lives, and it happens to be politics. And I want to talk about that, and I want to have people on, and I want to have candidates on, and I want to have pundits on, as well as some everyday people. Everyday people get to talk about politics, so it might be you. You have to let us know. You have to let me know. So on a particular night or evening, if you feel like you want to get into the conversation, I'll let you know how you can do that. But definitely, we gonna talk. All right, y'all. So it's gonna be Talk It Out Tuesday, but it's gonna be at 7. All right, it's gonna be at 7 p.m. and we're gonna talk about all things the way we talk about all things, but we're gonna be talking about politics of all things. All right, Tori, you think you're gonna be ready for that?
Yeah,
I know you will. I know you
I'll
will.
be ready.
Because the thing about it is this, y'all. You already understand the assignment. You understand the assignment. So what I want to ask you guys to do is don't get caught up into the foolishness of everything. Just get information that is important. Get information that will make an impact on you locally, statewide. But you know the assignment.
Yeah, yeah,
You know the assignment. Don't get out here trying to think that you can change hearts and change people who are already showing you who they are. When you see that people come from dysfunction, allow them to be. Let them be. But
right.
remember the assignment. We have an
Yeah,
assignment, so we gotta get out here and do it. We gotta get out here and use our voice for ourselves. We're not get ready to change no people.
absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
y'all. Tori, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
That's
Well,
all I
y'all
got.
be easy, and we'll be back at you for our last noonday. Talk It Out Tuesday. And with that being said, you guys enjoy the remainder of your afternoon. And I'm out. Peace.
All right, all right, all right, y'all. I ain't gonna talk to you no more. We're gonna go ahead and breathe this thing on out. Let's do some breath work. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold a few seconds. Exhale. And hold that a few seconds. Inhale one more time. Hold a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. And don't you feel great? I feel great. I appreciate you guys. And if nobody gave you a smile today, if nobody smiled today, you just close your eyes and give yourself a big smile and see how that feels for you. Right? Y'all be great out here. That's what we do. One love, y'all.